So, you know how sometimes a star player from a smaller team gets the call up to play in the big leagues? Well, that's pretty much what just happened in the Indian banking world. AU Small Finance Bank has been on an incredible 30-year journey, and it just hit a massive, massive milestone. But the big question is it really ready for what's coming next?
That's right, the Reserve Bank of India has given AU in-principle approval to become a universal bank. You should really think of this as a graduation. It's a huge vote of confidence in their business and honestly, a pivotal moment for the bank. They're moving from being a specialized player to a potential national powerhouse.
So that leads us to the crucial question, right? Does the bank's actual performance justify this huge step up? Is the engine running smoothly enough for this kind of promotion? Well, to find out, we're going to pop the hood and dive deep into their latest Q2 earnings report to get a real financial health check. All right, first up, let's just look at the vital signs. How did AU Bank actually do this last quarter? Think of this as the report card that's going to tell us if the business is standing on solid ground at this incredibly important turning point.
And the first number we see is a big one. Deposits grew by 21% year on year. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that's nearly double the average for the entire Indian banking system. It's a really clear sign that more and more customers are trusting AU with their money.
And on the other side of the ledger, you've got loans. They're also growing really robustly. A 17% jump year on year, which is 1.7 times faster than the system average. So this tells us the bank isn't just taking money in, it's getting it out the door and expanding its core business effectively.
You know, management seems to think the tide is turning too. The interim CFO, Gaurav Jain, he actually said that this quarter marks the bottoming out of the current cycle. That's a pretty strong signal that they believe the recent challenges are behind them and they're looking at better conditions ahead. So the headline numbers, they look pretty good. But the real story, the really fascinating part, is when you look inside the loan book. What we find is this kind of tale of two different strategies playing out at the exact same time.
This chart here gives us the perfect breakdown. I mean, you can see right away, the portfolio is dominated by secured loans. Wheels, that's vehicle loans, make up a third of the business. Mortgages are right behind. And see that little 8% slice? That's the unsecured stuff, like credit cards. This is their foundation. And here is where you really see that two-part strategy in action. Their core, the secured business, that's the engine. It's growing at a whopping 22%. But at the same time, they've intentionally hit the brakes on the unsecured loans. That part of the business has actually shrunk by 23%. Now, this is not a sign of trouble. It's a very deliberate, strategic reset.
What this shows us is that AU Bank is being super smart about managing its risk. They're stabilizing the more challenging, unsecured portfolio while letting their proven, reliable businesses, vehicle and home loans, just continue to drive strong growth. It's a picture of really disciplined control.
Okay, so now that we know the business is on solid footing, let's shift gears and look to the future. What does becoming a universal bank actually mean for AU's strategy moving forward?
Well, to put it simply, a universal bank license lets AU offer a much wider range of services. But more importantly, it brings a huge boost in credibility. And that leads to greater brand trust, makes it easier to attract top-tier customers, and, this is crucial, it gives them access to a lower cost of funds, basically cheaper deposits.
And this, right here, is the golden nugget, straight from the CEO Sanjay Agarwal. He makes the strategy crystal clear. They aren't becoming a universal bank to abandon their bread-and-butter business. The whole move is designed to lower their costs and make their current business model even stronger, even more profitable.
So we've looked at the bank's current health, we've looked at its future strategy. Let's pull it all together now and talk about what you should really be watching for next. All right, here's your 60-second summary. 1. Getting that universal bank approval is a massive strategic win. It's a total game changer. 2. Their core businesses, vehicle and mortgage loans, are growing way faster than the market. 3. They're successfully managing the riskier parts of their loan book. 4. Key financial metrics, like profit margins, are all heading in the right direction. And 5. The goal isn't to change what they do, it's to use their new status to double down and grab more market share.
For 30 years, AU Bank has absolutely mastered its niche. It's proven it can be an incredibly effective specialized lender. But now, the game is changing. It's stepping onto a much, much bigger stage. So the question this all leaves us with is a big one. Can this super successful, focused bank now take its unique model and compete head-to-head with the absolute giants of Indian banking? That's the journey to watch.